Okay, now for discussion of debug. This is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Not like you couldn't create your own debug, but we're all going to need it, so I just stuck it in here. Feel free to use it or take it out or change or do whatever you want, but it's here. Might as well take advantage of it. That's the whole idea of these things. So when you're working on your code, especially something more complicated than this simple demo, you're going to have to debug. You're going to get stuck and you're going to wonder what the heck, why doesn't it work? Etc. And you need to see the values of things. And so to make it convenient, I set up, come in your config file, um, turn on debug. You might want to do this on your local copy, not on the production. You don't want your end users to see your debugging. Turn on the first one, this one, the T, and you get a bit of data. This bit of data is in the controller. So right now we're in the root website, the homepage index file, but say we'll go to one of the food controllers. Same thing, it's still showing because the whole time we've been in this food controller. And you come down to the view block, the view function, right here. So near the bottom of every controller is the view. And it says if you've got that config variable turned on to T, which we just did here, remember? Just a second ago. Then it will show all of this, and the first chunk is this div, which is whatever you want. And so you can just put, a few custom things right here if you need to. I always wanted to see the, page generation time and date, and the amount of time it took to parse the page, so I put those there. You can put what you like here. Also in our config is this other variable, which is show all the variables in debug output, which is this other one. And if we show that, then this will fire. And this is all of the form variables and all the list variables. Let's go ahead and turn that on and see what that looks like. Those are both on T. Now reload the page. See, we got everything. All the variables, all the data. That's all there is to it, except for one more thing. I'm going to go back to the controller and see all the debug data is being held in this text variable until we get to our view. Debug output. So I'm going to search for this. I'm going to go to the top of the file and search down the controller. See, we were down here in the view looking at this debug block before the actual page content is loaded, before we return it in this whole function, which ends up getting spit out to the view file. This file here, v end user. See the MVC demo to see what I'm talking about if you're not sure. But before you get down to this view block, you can find wherever you put it, like I've done on this demo site in the food controller, way up here. This is in the menu method. So every time we load the menu method, which we will whenever we go to a menu page, see at the bottom down here, it shows the URL where I'll go if I click the link. If I hover over this, see, food menu. If we go to that, it's going to fire this menu method. That's quite a long one. Or no, it's not so long. That long. And I've got my debug output being built up here. And this is in the case when controller param1 is equal to random meal. So what that means basically, see the URL routing and the MVC demos to really follow what I'm talking about. But basically, if I load this link, menu, see, food menu, it's going to fire this block. And we just have our usual debug data. But if I go to random meal, it's going to stick random meal right here, which is going to cause this switch case to fire this block. And in here is where I've got my example buildup of the debug data. So I'll just back up and say, imagine you need some debug data more than what's built in. You need not just your form variables loop, and not just your list variables loop, and not just whatever you've happened to stick in your bottom of your controller down here in the view, in this custom block. But say you've got some specialized code you're working on in a particular pace higher up the page, wherever. So then all you got to do is stick a block like this. Debug data text variable will be assigned to itself. It's already initialized to blank in the system or somewhere, I forget. So you just assign it to itself and concatenate on whatever thing you're working on that you need to see. Okay, so in this case, we've got this sampled dummy debug. This is just an example to show off how to take advantage of the built-in debugger, right? Which fires when we're in menu random meal. So let's go. Menu random meal. There we are, see? This bit of HTML that I've selected just now in the browser is there because of this. And this block is only in menu random meal. If we go to menu seasonal meal, then this is going to disappear. Menu seasonal meal, see? That it's gone. That's because this is not, for example, here. But I can stick it there if I want to. So you put it wherever you need it when you want to see some custom stuff besides what comes built in by default when you use your config toggles for the debug data. That's it.